Welcome to episode 97 of the Scarlet Faithful podcast. I'm Aaron Breitman, and Rutgers football adds not one, but two commitments on Thursday, June 22nd, one day after flipping three-star linebacker Samarian Robinson, who was a Central Florida commit. Spoke about him yesterday on the episode, also wrote about his commitment. Now on Thursday, they land two more. The first of which came early afternoon, three-star athlete Noah Shaw. He's a third commit now from North Carolina. He is more of a linebacker safety, but he's listed as an athlete because he is very versatile. He could end up playing multiple defensive positions. And most importantly, he brings a lot of speed, which Rutgers can never have enough of. He runs a 4.4740, 4.43 shuttle. He's also 11-second flat, 100 meters. So guy's got a lot of speed, being able to be used in multiple ways. It's a valuable ad at this point for Rutgers, again, tapping into those out-of-state contacts. North Carolina, now they're third, adding on to the receivers Isaiah Crumpler and Benjamin Black. And then maybe an hour later, Rutgers adds three-star edge Elijah King. He is out of Ohio, right at the Buckeyes' backyard, Columbus. And he's 6'6", 230. He's got a really solid offer list that includes Minnesota. He actually took visits to Purdue. He had one scheduled to Indiana this weekend, canceled it. He did take an official to Rutgers as well. Holds offers from Iowa, Minnesota, West Virginia, Kentucky, Iowa State, Cincinnati, among others, some MAC schools as well. So I've spoken about this before, but offer lists to me are very telling. And that's a pretty good offer list. He's number 38th prospect in Ohio, 63 in terms of edge prospects in the country, and 930 overall. And he's the ninth recruit who has committed to Rutgers that's ranked in the top 1,000. I checked last year's class. They only had 7. And they're still, hard to say exactly how many spots are left to fill in this class, but I would guesstimate 5 to 7. So this class is surely shaping up to be better than last year, and also I think probably the best of Schiano's tenure since he's returned. There's still, it looks like 24/7 hasn't updated at the time of this recording, but they were ranked number 27 nationally after Noah Shaw committed earlier today. They're number 6 in the Big Ten. Again, they're going to have to add some higher rated guys to keep in that neighborhood. But, I'm going up and down their list, and, like Benjamin Black is their least rated recruit right now. And he's a speed athlete out of North Carolina that I think could have a big impact in special teams and as a slot receiver down the road. So I think as a whole, it's a pretty good haul so far. I think that, Sean is talking about being a developmental program. There's certainly some guys that they're going to need to develop, and they're not going to get, a bunch of 4 and 5 stars. But I think that there are certain qualities of every commit that they've gotten that you look at it, you say, okay, that makes sense. Like Noah Shaw, for example, he's on the lower end in terms of ratings in the class, but his versatility and speed, yeah, that makes sense. He's a developmental type of guy that Rutgers can figure out where he's going to work best, whether it's, somewhere along the defense, probably could contribute on special teams as well. That's a guy that they're going to be able to figure out based on how he does develop and puts on size and all that. And, it's a useful addition. It's a value add. Elijah King, you can never have enough edge rushers. He's got the size. He's got the background. I think that, getting out, I've talked about Schiano recruiting Ohio before. They've done a good job with Michigan now. Ohio is a state that they really can, I think, continue to tap in over the years. And they're just putting their claws in the Midwest. And now with 17 commitments out of New Jersey of AJ Cerise, you have Kenny Jones out of Delran. And then you have, that's it. They have 2 commits now because they recently lost Judah Pruitt, who went to BC. They have 2 commits out of 17 for New Jersey, but they've really expanded their footprint as a whole, something I think is a long time coming and really great to see. So They continue to add to this class. And what I like, too, is that the guys that they've gotten, they're canceling official visits to other Power 5 schools. These aren't guys that are just, kind of taking flyers on and maybe have another Power 5 offer. These are guys that not only have offers from Power 5 schools, but are taking other Power 5 visits and have other Power 5 visits lined up. And Rutgers is getting them, in both the case of Shaw and now King. They both visited Rutgers on June 2nd. They both took Power 5 visits. Shaw went to Duke. King went to one. What was the Big Ten school last week? It was Indiana was scheduled. Purdue. So they went to Purdue and Duke after Rutgers. They had other Power 5 visits lined up, and they stopped the recruitment and they committed to Rutgers. So that's a really good sign. It's not just about the ratings. It's not just about the developmental capabilities in terms of their potential, but it's also fit, right? And those are the signs you want to see and look for in a commit, in the recruitment process. Guys that are willing to say, hey, I'm a Scarlet Knight and I'm shutting it down. And we've seen it with other recruits that hasn't been the case. So I think Shiano is really starting to get his guys. And he has to a degree so far, but I think this class is definitely, we want all the 4 and 5 stars we can get. We want that top 25, top 30 recruiting class ranking. They still have a shot to do that. But in terms of how the class will fit in the program, what kind of success as a recruiting class can they yield? I think that the signs in terms of the Power 5 offers, the Power 5 visits, the willingness to commit now in June and cancel other visits, the versatility and speed as a whole that I think they've added. I think that, it's easy to say this and people might say it's a cop-out, but I do think that they've gotten some underrated guys that are guys that could be high level players. AJ Serace to me is a guy that he's an underrated quarterback recruit that I think is going to end up being very good at Rutgers. So I think the staff's done a really good job. I think the coaching staff is in a really good spot. Again, I think the last 5 to 7 spots, you need some high-end ads to kind of pump up that class ranking. Yes, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen. But listen, talent wins, right? Development is important. Coaching is important. But if you look back, there's, I know a lot of people listening and watching this know this, and because it's been out enough over the years, just across social media and people talking about, but there's plenty of stats out there about the percentage of 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits, and how that translates to a program's winning percentage. It all correlates. The more talent you have, typically the more you win. And Rutgers has to continue to do that. Again, today, King and Noah Shaw, value adds, they make sense, they fit. Just need to keep plugging away. You need a couple big wins. It still is only June. The class, early signing period is not till December. But the momentum is moving in the right direction for Rutgers. And I think that the start of the season is going to be huge. September, just obviously for multiple reasons, for Rutgers to be in bowl contention at the end of September, but also just to keep momentum going in recruiting, not just with the 24 class, but the 25 class as well. And listen, Rutgers needs as much positive momentum as they can get. And this is legitimate positive momentum. 10 commits now in June. They're doing really well out of state. They need to keep it going. They've landed some key pieces, I think, out of the transfer portal. It's Sean Bowman, the tight end out of Maine. I really like. I think they got some key help with Eric Rogers and Flip Dixon defensively. They also did add Isaiah Eaton from Mississippi, Ole Miss, on the defensive line. He's kind of an X factor, I think, to see how ready he is going to be this year, but he could be, a big-time contributor. So they've added some pieces. Obviously, the receivers, Jaquay, Jackson, Nassim Brantley. there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees of anything. But I think, again, going back to just how we felt about the program last fall, how things kind of ended on the field, how the recruiting finished up for the 23 cycle, I think today, June 22nd, I feel, and hopefully a lot of you feel better about where the program is positioned right now. So that's a plus. And it's obviously really important for Shiano going into his fourth year. So, big news this week, adding those commits. They're having a big June. See what happens the rest of the month and the rest of this recruiting cycle. But they're holding steady in the top 30. I think once the King commit gets updated by 24/7 Sports, I might move up a spot. But, there's some big decisions coming up just in terms of Duff is coming up. And then also they have a few others that they're trying to close out on. They had 2 other visitors this week. So we'll see what happens. But I really like what they've done so far. And I think that it's all positive signs in terms of where things are headed. But like I said, September is going to be so huge, just not only to be bowl eligible, in contention for bowl eligibility once October hits, which is so important. And what does that mean? That probably means going 4-1. But also, I think that would be a big sign just in terms of keeping the 24 class intact, helping with the 25 recruiting class, and just sending a positive message across the Big Ten, across the college football landscape, that Rutgers is getting better. And that's all. I mean, I know some fans are asking for the moon. Maybe not even the moon. Maybe that's unfair for me to say. They're asking for, a competent winning program. And that's what we all ultimately want. But we have to see progress before you see that. And I think both could happen this fall. Progress and it resulting in a winning program and a bowl eligible program. And like I said, this offseason, we're seeing positive signs. So thanks for listening and watching once again. My next episode, which will be out momentarily, is a one-on-one exclusive interview with Derek Simpson of Rutgers men's basketball. So stay tuned for that. That should be out pretty soon. And appreciate you watching and listening to the Scarlet Faithful podcast once again.